Oh, I think it says we're live. We're back again. Took a little break, honoring the Memorial Day. But yeah.
Thank you for your service.
Yes.
They live again. They never died. But this special airing will have to be played at a different time because we're bringing you this epic podcast instead.
Welcome to For Music Lovers Only, a podcast where each host makes a top 5 list of their favorite songs from this week's topic. Each week is a new topic. Tune in, I dare you.
Music
Lovers Only.
Hey!
What's up, everybody? We are For Music Lovers Only, the #1 podcast on the Talking Beard Network, and we'd make our top 5. I lost my train of thought there, guys. Coach was like, it just was like distracting at the side view. But we pick a topic each week, and we talk about our top 5 favorite songs of that topic. And this week we're going to talk grunge.
I've been telling you shouldn't leave your thoughts on trains as well because they're also harder for you to catch.
Yes, they are.
Yeah.
Told you.
We are back. What's up, Jana?
Hey, Jenna!
Yeah. Thoughts on trains are not good. Not good at all. But it was kind of inspired by some grunge news 2 weeks ago because we took last week off. I enjoyed it.
Mm-hmm.
It was I got to touch some grass, went out by the river, out by Casey's place, and got some ticks, found some ticks. So we got some off just to have that on.
A lot of ticks in this area. I'm just saying it's ticky.
Yeah.
Ticky.
Yeah. So
I never check for ticks, and I feel like that's a bad thing. I just, it'll show up if it's there.
I hate ticks. They're gross, nasty.
I found one in a real bad spot once, and ever since then, I regularly check when I mow or I'm outside much, or when I'm even laying with the dogs for too long. And it gives me a reason to touch myself. Let's be honest. So
we made it 2.5 minutes before we
I'm
we
talking
got
about
it.
like my arms and my
But
back.
you gotta check. And why do they like the disgusting places too? This one, I assume it was one. I found him. He was going like right into my eye. I was like on my face. I'm like, what the? Got him off. Torched him and unnecessary fire to him. But then I was itching. I got like 6 spots. It's like, man, pick a spot and go to town, man. What the hell? Why do you got to bite me 6 times before you? I mean, my eyeball was like the next spot. I think I'm like,
you would get the picky tick.
Yeah, I would. All over the place. Like I said, very close to the unmentionable areas. I'm like, come on now, stop it.
Your toes, because we don't talk about feet on this podcast. That's one thing we don't do. No. We promise you that.
I promise you.
That'll be the only time they're ever mentioned. Right then.
I don't have any feet news. We're gonna go ahead and start with the news today, and then we'll get to our question. How about that?
All right.
So this day in 2017, June 1st, for those who don't know, Jerry Garcia's favorite guitar, which was named Wolf, sold at auction for $3.2 million for a civil rights group, the Southern Poverty Law Center. I didn't get a chance to do any research on him. I assume it was very hippie-ish because it's Jerry Garcia.
Poverty and 3.2 million seems like it shouldn't be in the same sentence.
I mean, it seems like that would solve all the problems right there. So they changed their name to that afterwards to not poverty. What is Southern Rich Law Center?
Southern royalty.
Yeah, royalty. But 1981, the first issue of heavy metal magazine Kerrang was published in the UK, and it's the metalheads know all this one. This was the main thing before we had internet. That's how you knew who to go listen to. It had AC/DC on the cover, featured Motorhead, Girl School, and Saxon. 1972, the Eagles released their debut album, and we all know how that went for them. Produced 3 top 40 singles. Take It Easy, Witchy
I've
Woman.
heard they're great, you know.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
And then the Beatles. I mean, I can still find Beatle news every day. 1966, during a 12-hour session at Abbey Road Studio, the Beatles added the overdubs on Yellow Submarine, with John Lennon blowing bubbles into a bucket of water and shouting, "Full speed ahead, Mr. Captain." One of the roadies was marching around with the bass drum on his chest, while the rest of the Beatles and the crew and whoever was in the studio were shouting, "We all live in Yellow Submarine." It took 12 hours to do that. They were
having a good time.
Experimental.
Yeah, they were. Let's take another take. I mean, take. Let's do it again, guys. Back.
And finally, happy birthday to Alanis Morissette. We love you.
Yay!
Yes.
Indeed. Just like angst on tape. I'm angry too. Thank you, Alanis. I don't know what you're going through yet, but I'm gonna.
Yeah. All right, now let's do our question. I want to get into our list. I'm chopping at the bit a little bit to get into our list because it was a fun walk down memory lane. And like I said, grunge, it started in Seattle. But I mean, it was very short-lived.
Grunge?
Well, kind of. You say that. I mean,
like grunge lasted forever.
I think maybe the exact stereotype or cover of what grunge did, but I think there's a lot of music that's still, even alternative music, that has a ton of grunge in it. Their sound, the things they do.
Yeah,
I think
definitely.
That's why. I mean, so maybe your true garage band grunge or whatever. Maybe a lot of that has. You could. I agree with that, but
I will correct my statement. Then it was in the mainstream for a very short time. Yeah. It wasn't in the mainstream. New metal came along, and it kind of. Just like it killed the 80s hair bands, grunge killed the 80s hair bands. Thank God. New metal killed them, and that became,
that happened.
All right. So, Coach, you had a question, right?
Yeah, mine's just I were actually thinking about going on a vacation or trying to plan something. Just I haven't got away for a while, and I got some time to use, and just thinking about. I mean, we ain't gonna do nothing probably cool on this one, but it just got me thinking. Where's the coolest place you guys have ever been?
Oh wow.
Even whether it's as a kid or it may not even be. I know people that have been to Mexico and all these places, but they didn't have a good time, and their spot might be somewhere in freaking Arkansas at some spring. You know what I mean? I mean, just I've asked quite a few people lately, and I've got some crazy answers. A lot of Colorados. But I mean, I got some, organs and some of that stuff. So,
like I said, I liked Arizona. If you're into the dry heat type of bullshit.
Okay.
And that used to be my kind of retirement plan, but as I'm getting older, it may just be Colorado now. So, I mean, both are beautiful. Both are for different reasons. And I mean, Arizona, there's no snow, and I love that.
Yeah.
I do not like snow.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm going to say New Orleans.
I haven't been.
Yeah, with my best friend and my boys, we went to New Orleans. Man, I think it was last year.
Yeah.
2 years have been packed with so much life. But yeah, New Orleans it's just cool. Just going there is cool. Just to drive into the city, watching like all the weeping willows and seeing all the old plantations, that threw us for a loop. It's just whoa, is that what I think it is? It's like, they're in the South.
Yeah,
definitely.
And
there's always Go ahead, Coach.
I've been to the South, but I know I've never been to New Orleans, but I know a ton of people that have, and like we had a couple guys on the old show that had, and he told the whole, but most everybody, short of, I mean, there are some areas just, especially after Katrina that were in bad, but the experience, the people, the atmosphere, the environment, the whatever, everything I've always heard was awesome.
Oh yeah.
It's always been a bucket.
I know somebody that got in some major trouble on Bourbon Street for smoking and got arrested and was there for a little longer than they planned. Mine's probably Mexico. I was gonna say there's quite a few cool places in California. If I was unlimited funds or whatever, because everywhere I've been short of, I had a really bad trip to San Francisco. There was some cool stuff there, but it was just not a good trip. San Diego, if I could choose any place to go live, retire, whatever, it would be somewhere north or south, find country right around San Diego, because the environment, the atmosphere, the weather, hardly any rain, beautiful. I mean, the lows ever in the year in the 50s and the highs ever in the 80s. It's just the ideal place, for me. But Mexico was just pretty badass. It was beautiful, and ocean, and that stuff's hard to beat.
Yeah. The ocean is. We got to go to the Gulf Coast.
Okay.
It's like the kind of ocean.
Yeah, I've been.
Feels good on your feet.
So I've been in Texas. Yeah, we've been to whatever Padre Island. I've been there, and that was real cool. I went when I was in high school on like a week getaway thing in the summer, and that was cool. So had some cool experiences partying, some memories.
All right. Good question. You want to go, Sontia, or do you want me to go?
Oh, I can go. My question is, because I was talking to somebody about this earlier, who was your biggest real life influence growing up? Like a person that was actually in your life that was your biggest influence. Mine was my Uncle Jim. He was my father figure, my mentor, my patriarch, the leader of everything, and the coolest man I have ever met in my life.
Yeah.
Like, he always smelled good. He always was dressed to the 7 to 9s. And he carried himself with confidence, and that's part of why I am who I am.
Yeah. Mine would be definitely a toss-up between my grandpa and my dad. I mean, like I said, I remember my dad always, had a way with words, cuss words. What was it, the scene in the Christmas Story where he could, he's down in the, he was a poet with the cuss words for sure. Terryisms, as we refer to them now. But so I was exposed to the cuss words, and I cussed. I said every word. I didn't get caught. I mean, me and the friends, we always cussed. And I remember the first time I heard the F word, and I was sitting in the truck between my dad and my grandpa, and it just was all of a sudden every other word was them, and I was just like, yes, I can say it now, because I wouldn't say it if my dad didn't say it. All my other friends, they were saying it, but that was just for me. I mean, they taught me a lot of good things too, but cussing's an important one. Come on.
It is.
Mine's similar, mine was like my grandpa and my dad for points, but really mine, and Mr. Williams, one of our teachers we had, he was a teacher of mine from like 7th grade all the way till the time I graduated. And he was a true dude that like pulled for me. Like, I was a troublemaker, and truth 100% be told, he's the only reason I graduated, because he went to bat for me, gave me some extra credits for doing teacher's aid stuff I didn't do, talked some other teachers into doing that, but because he believed and knew that, seen some of that stuff. So, and I see, and that he was a lot of the reason I wanted to coach. And for a long time I wanted to teach, until I realized I'd get in trouble for choke slamming kids.
Do not have the patience.
I can coach. I can do the coaching. So if I ever go back, that's why I am coach. I don't, I don't choke slam them there, but in school, I can run them to death. And, if they lip off in practice, there's other ways to get them without choke slam. You can't do that to them as a teacher, PE, but.
Okay, good question. So mine was basically going to be coaches. And like I said, I was going with the fly. So I'm going to modify it briefly, slightly. I mean, a lot. What do you look forward to for summer? I mean, summer's upon us now. Memorial Day was the official start to summer. It's 84 degrees here today. It's hot. I've been to the
going right over here.
Yeah, I've been to the river already and touched some water, played in some water. So it's summer. So, and like I said, the kids out of school, I like that because I get to sleep in a little bit.
Yes.
So I haven't got to yet because I always still get up, at times. So I just kind of kill time for like an hour before I go to work, and that's not bad. But So that's my answer. Getting to potentially sleep in a little bit.
Oh, okay.
I think mine's just all the stuff you do, the barbecues, the outside stuff. The older I get, because I mow a bunch of yards and I'm out, I'm less and less enjoyed. I'd like to get back into like some boating or some water activities or do it, but I really don't like to swim that much. If I'm 100% on, if we have a pool, I don't mind jumping in and getting wet, but I'm not a huge. I am a water like I love to sea do and do that kind of stuff, but I'm not a swim to swim. Maybe if I have a big cool pool with a diving board, I love diving and stuff. But
well, we have a mutual friend who just got a boat, so
okay, good deal.
Oh, we have a mutual friend that just got.
All right. I like this.
I'm in.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to get on a boat.
No. You can stay on the Titanic. You can stay on the beach. I mean, it's fine.
Yeah.
I'm like in the middle of what? Nah, I can't do it.
I don't like swimming in anything. The kid went to the Memorial Day. She went to the pool last Saturday. I'm like, get home, get a shower, and get all that pee and chlorine off you. She's like, "Oh, gross, Dad." And I'm go, I guarantee one of them kids, if not all of them, peed in that damn water.
Yeah,
but they put enough chlorine, and there's another thing you put in the public pools to help kill it, man. I mean,
but still, that chemical
cool.
ain't good for you.
It almost encourages you to pee in there. It's like scaring me. I
don't think it kills it. I think it neutralizes it. So
it's
still pee in the water. It's just like not bad pee.
They're bad pee. I mean, come on, it kills jellies, or it helps with jellyfish stings. I mean,
I've heard that was a rumor though too.
This might be the worst topic we've spun off to. So
I feel like somebody just made that up so they could
go back to talking about. Let's go back to talking about the freaking ticks in your junk, buddy.
Worst thing about summer: the ticks and mosquitoes.
Oh,
yeah, I hate mosquitoes.
Yeah.
Man, we've mentioned feet like 4 times. I'm just looking forward to adventures with my boys. That's pretty much it. Yeah. They like outside more. So I don't know what's going on with that, but I'm running with it while they still want to like hang out with me. We're gonna be outside.
Hell yeah.
It's kind of a cool summer here recently.
So far, don't jinx us.
Yeah, and say we're just in the 1st of June though too. I mean, it was actually I thought it was kind of a warm May, if I'm honest, but we didn't have enough 70s in May, man. Enough like 70 all days where I had my AC on a lot of May. That's all I'm saying.
And I don't work outside, so I really don't know.
Yeah, and I don't. I mean, I go outside in between my warehouses, but
all right. So that was. Did you answer your favorite part of summer, Sontia?
Yeah,
the adventures with the boys.
Yeah, adventures with the boys.
Just making sure I didn't cut you off. Coach got the spinner handy, I believe.
Yay!
All right, let's give that thing a spin. See who our first victim will be.
Oh, that wasn't a very good spin, but we're giving it to her anyway because it landed.
Woo!
Hey, man.
Like I said with grunge, I don't think it's like I said. I think one of the definitions of it is that Seattle, but I don't think it started in Seattle, but there were other bands that I seen on lists, and I was like, some of them I agreed with, some of them I didn't. It's a very blurry time.
Well, I was at work today. I watched a whole list on grunge, or like a whole like documentary thing, and they talked about bands from Boston, from I don't even think like the Pixies were from Seattle, and that's who some of the biggest bands influence so I mean there's bands from San Diego, and so
yeah, I think like grunge started in Seattle. Like that was the hub of grunge from what I was looking at, is it's kind of where it spun out of. And I have a whole thing about that later on. I have something that we're all gonna learn today. But first, let's talk about Nickelback. Because as we all know, I love Nickelback so much.
Way.
I do. I really do. So much. Shocked. And the grunge song that they had. Okay, so my favorite album is The State. And just hands down. But I knew that before they did The State, they had a whole album prior to that was almost a full grunge album. And I had to hunt it down So it took me 20 seconds to look it up on the internet.
There's not a lot about Nickelback. I mean, people are trying to suppress them.
Yeah.
They've been trying to take them down for years.
Mm-hmm. Well, after they got super fit, like they already had money. Like they nobody cared if they just went away for a while because they were counting their ducats. But there is a song called Fly, and it's off of their album called Curb from 1996. And Fly, the reason why I picked that one, the whole album is a grunge album. Like it doesn't sound like anything Nickelback did after that. It was really like personal. I guess they had some friends that died or something like that, and the whole album was kind of a tribute to everything they were going through with that.
Yeah.
But Fly was essentially the lead singer Chad contemplating death because of a lot of mistakes that he made in his life. And so I thought that was really, really cool. And I got to experience that album. And it was definitely a different side of Nickelback that I knew existed. But I just had to take 20 seconds of my life to find it.
I think grunge, I think that's one of the things. It's got to be sad almost, but I mean, it's got a lot of emotion.
Yeah.
It's kind of like punk kids who learned to play guitar and instead of being so angry, they were sad.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of what, and I mean, I don't know. Something.
But I have something historically that'll go with that too, because we're going to learn something today. But first, we're going to go to Nirvana. And Nirvana, of course, was, even if you didn't know anything about punk or anything before that, Nirvana was like the most famous, just popped out of nowhere. It's like, oh, Nirvana.
Yeah,
and I remember
put it on the map.
Yeah,
they were the mains, one of the first mainstream.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. And we were in elementary school and drawing the weird faces or whatever else. I had no idea how completely depressing they were. But In Utero is my favorite album, and I picked Scentless Apprentice. Scentless Apprentice.
Yes.
Yep.
So that's
awesome song.
Yeah, I love that song. It's just
listened to so much Nirvana this week.
Oh yeah, I love the yelling. Next is going to be Smashing Pumpkins. Aviador. Is it Aviador or is it Avador? I've never said it out loud now that I think about it. We shall never be apart. No?
I'm drawing a blank on it. I mean, I know I've heard it, but I'm drawing a blank of what.
It is the creepiest video, and it is the most creepiest love song. It's my favorite love song. It's like it's like that obsessive period where you can't stop touching each other. Like that song reminds me of that period of time where we're just like, I love you.
Puke,
no, I love
puke.
you. No, I love you. No, I love you. We will never be apart. Number 4 is going to be Mother Mother by TRACY BONHAM.
Yeah.
That's from 1996. One of my favorite songs because it's somebody acting like they're fine and they are absolutely not.
Again, I think a major trait of ignoring your problems, and I think that was Kurt's problem.
Yeah.
Along with a lot of others, and some of them survived, but yeah.
Yeah. After coming out of a deep depression, like I get it. Like it's hard. It's really hard when you're stuck in a dark place and you can't see a way out. And then you have to deal with fame and tabloids, and then you have a family and you have all of these different things. So my heart goes out to him because there was so much just on him, even though he had his band members and everything like that. There was so much just that was on him. That was so much pressure. And if he would have waited like another month or something like that, or a couple more days, he probably would have pulled out of it and just be an old man.
Yeah, but then we probably wouldn't be sitting here talking about him. He would have probably just, fizzled out. And
I don't know though, man. I don't know if that. I don't know, man. Those songs, because he was so big. At least the guys like me, the guys that watched every single thing, the Unplugged, every single thing he did. I don't think I think he got bigger to a point, but I don't know. You're right. If he ever got as big, yeah, hard to say.
Yeah,
I think he would have walked away, but I mean, he was.
Oh yeah, well before. I don't think we wouldn't know what he's doing right now. Most likely.
Yeah, and the Foo Fighters would still exist. They'd still be happening.
100%, yeah, because he would have split. I mean, I think that's the part that went with it, So,
so that's it. So
okay,
that's it. And then my last one, because I said we're going to learn today. So there I was, minding my own business. I wasn't doing anything but looking for grunge music, and I came up on this lady. Her name is Tina Bell, and she was in a group called Bam Bam. So there was this CBS morning review that came up about her, and apparently she is known as an early pioneer of grunge music in Seattle. She's a Black front woman.
Yeah.
And she essentially, they called her the queen of grunge, the grandmother of grunge, the founder of grunge. And I had no idea that she even existed. Yeah. And she even went on tour and played some shows with Soundgarden and Pearl Jam and Alice in Chains. And part of the reason why they were known as pioneers, her group was called Bam Bam. Like part of the reason why they were known as pioneers, but they never really got famous, is they refused to sign a record label. They did not want to sign with a record label. They wanted to do everything independently. They moved to London to see if they can make it. And then she just got tired in like 1990 and just went and lived her life. Yeah. But they have a song called Ground Zero, and this was made in 1984. And it's known as one of the first grunge songs, one of the first grungy songs. So I thought that was really cool because I had no idea who she was.
Well, that was one thing I noticed going through the list of grunge. There was a lot of bands that I had never heard of. Mm-hmm. And I did not take this time. I wanted, I didn't want to go find new grunge bands, but I mean, I could just imagine just some of the names, can't think of any that stuck out, out of my head right now, but it was just amazing. And I was like, there was one that was underground grunge, and I hadn't heard of any of them. Mm-hmm. So I'm gonna have to go back and do some research on those. But like I say, to make my list, I wanted to do. I mean, like I said, I wanted to do ones that meant something to me,
right?
Not going searching, because I was like, holy crap, I could be here for 2 weeks.
Yeah, I got you. I mean, and thinking about just even the grunge scene and all of the unknowns, think about even just our local music scene, our local art scene, our local dance scene and theater scene. There's people that are going to be doing stuff their whole lives that you're never going to hear about anywhere else but Wichita, Kansas.
Well, I think it's a lot easier with the internet for people to get seen nowadays than, I mean, if you've got a Spotify, if you put it on Spotify, anybody can hear it and you can share it with people. And so that's something that, back when I was making music, I wish we had the Spotify so I could go back and listen to them songs right now, not for any kind of monetary value, but just, I mean, I've got everything that we recorded, but I mean, that's the thing. We scrapped so much that we didn't record. I'm just like, oh, I wish I had every song recorded.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But all right. Good list.
Very good list.
Thank you very much.
Ready to spin?
Let's give her a spin.
It's me again. I mean, I could do another list.
Who is it, Coach?
I mean, we've been doing this a long time. We haven't had 46 spins the same person, man. I mean, look at how rigged or not rigged it is. I think that officially may, we'll leave and she can do 15 songs.
I'm chosen.
Fine, plate. All right. Yeah, I had fun, man. It was kind of a trip down memory lane. Like I said, I did listen to a bunch of stuff I've never, like I said, just because, again, I sat at work for 5 hours today and just turned on just grunge, and then some stuff, a bunch of stuff you knew, but then stuff I'm like, oh, who the hell's that? And then you're researching. And so, but most of them didn't make the list. But number 5, Soundgarden, Jesus Christ Pose.
Yeah.
One of my favorite freaking songs. And when it first came out, like, it just pissed people off, and, like, just, I don't know, man. Good song. My number 4, Mudhoney, Touch Me, I'm Sick. And man,
cheers on that one.
What's that?
Cheers on that one for getting a Mudhoney on there.
Man, I probably listened about 10 Mudhoney. I mean, like, I got into them for maybe a year or two. There's a couple that still make some of my playlists, like on my, whatever, my running stuff or my workout stuff. Yeah. But that's one that means a bunch. It's fun.
Sweet.
So my number 3, and this one, we were getting into the grunge scene, and everybody's like, me and my brother were Grundens, and this is GRUNTRUCK, Crazy Love. And man, they did some awesome videos for back in the day. They were like pioneer of grunge videos to me. If you go back and watch some of their stuff, and they sounded like, a lot of their music, not the singing, but a lot of their music and how they did it had a lot of Nirvana. And I know a lot of people obviously did, because they all had that same feel. Yeah. But for as different as their lyrics could be, it was crazy. If they didn't sing, you could be thrown off a little bit. So number 2, Alice in Chains, Man in the Box. Probably one of the more famous songs, and I tried to, a lot of my grunge wasn't, besides maybe Nirvana, and I could have done 15 Nirvana songs if we're honest on this list. I tried to kind of stay away from that, except for my number 1. And this one, I still have 2 of them down, and I couldn't decide what it's going to be, but I'm going to go with In Bloom, Nirvana. So I had just, man, we listened to so much Nirvana. Bruce and my brother, that was their band. And I mean 6, 7, 8 months of nothing but Nirvana.
They had enough music.
Yeah. Well, like I said, Alice in Chains, they had a pretty good, and a lot of it was on the radio. I didn't, I went back and I was like, okay, that one I heard, I was like, wow. I think they probably had more airtime than Nirvana back in the day.
I would say they were probably if you go of all time, especially if you take away, they were, to me, maybe the biggest one. I mean, them or Nirvana,
Right.
They have a crap ton. You're the same way. I couldn't believe how big their list was.
Yeah.
And 9 Inch Nails too. 9 Inch Nails was on there like all the time, always on the radio.
Yeah, that's what's crazy, how different they had that grunge stuff, then had the heavy metal stuff. Then, you listen to some of their side project stuff, how even completely different.
Yeah.
And then they'll put on Sublime.
Yeah.
Sublime's got a new song out too.
Oh, I didn't know that.
It's pretty good. I listened to it. I can't remember what it was called.
That's what maybe that should go back to about what I like about summer, all the new music that comes out.
Yeah.
I always check out the Friday on Spotify. Friday's is the new release day. That's what they want to do. Mm-hmm. And so I check it out, and there's 100 new releases, and I like 3 that I can tolerate. I try, but
3 that I
can't get into a lot of the
new my stick.
All right, I'm gonna click my button. I click my button.
You gotta click it.
My number 5 is, like I said, I think they were from Los Angeles, and I said it's such a gray line, but it's KYUSS, the Thong song, which I thought was the funny. They got Green Machine, which is probably, but it's got that grunge music, and there were ones that weren't really mainstream, but I had found them years ago and listened to a few of their songs and really enjoyed them, and so I had to figure them on there. But that was 92, the Thong song, and I'm pretty sure it was probably playing on who did the Thong song.
Cisco.
Cisco.
Thong.
I don't know the timeline which came first, but I mean, it doesn't talk about, it's not the same song at all. But
okay.
I would hope not. But come to find out, Dolly Parton was the original person that did both of them.
Yeah. My number 4 is Alice in Chains. See, Coach had me puckering with 3 of his, 4. But Don't Follow is my automatic go-to, just because I said it.
Awesome. It was written on here.
Yeah, it's so sad, I mean, there was a lot of sad, just depressing songs. It was a depressing time, man, I guess, for a lot of people. 1994, Jar of Flies, I mean, it's like, good God.
Picture of a jar of flies, like, oh, that works.
Yeah, that fits it. My number 3 was Soundgarden, Let Me Drown. That was off of their Superunknown. That was the album that they went mainstream with, and probably, in all honesty, the very first song I heard from them, because I think Bohannon had let me borrow the album, and I went home, and back in the day we had CDs and we had to physically put it into a machine and push play. So naturally it starts with track 1. So this was the first track, and I was just, what was it? I can't remember the line. The third line just really punched me in the face. It was like, yeah,
I'm in.
This is it. It's like, you can't save me. Something like, save yourself. Yeah, I think that's what, but my number 2 is Mudhoney. And again, you had me puckering because they're kind of not very mainstream. And I love the song you chose too, but Acetone was mine. That was off Piece of Cake, in which I think what was it? Touch Me, I'm Sick was on that one as well.
Yep. That's probably I think that was the CD I had. My buddy Mark they were huge grunge dudes, and he just gave me Mudhoney, and he's like, take this, man. I got 2 of them.
Yeah.
Like, I will. And it was in there, man.
Yeah. I got it off of Glory Days movie with Ben Affleck. Acetone. It's a great movie. It's before Ben was, Ben.
Batman.
This was way one of his very first movies. And but yeah, that's the ending song to the whole movie. And it's just it fits, and it's always stuck with me.
I have never heard a Mudhoney song. I need to listen to them.
Man, it's different. It's awesome, man.
Yep, we will have a playlist, and they will all be it, including my number 1, Nirvana, Love Buzz. This was always the song that got me going. It was off of the Bleach album, which came before Nevermind, but Nevermind was the album that I got into him with. But after I heard Love Buzz, and they got one song called Marijuana, but it's like a rare underground. I'd found it on the what was the LimeWire, all the downloads, the Napsters and shit like that. I found a bunch of weird songs on there that I can't find anywhere else nowadays.
Man, some
Jimi Hendrix and Jim Morrison songs, very derogatory. Yeah, so I don't know if this was back in the 90s when I found them, so we did not have the AI technology then to
have right with them for them.
So I mean, I could see them being, analogs spliced over, but to get them both doing, because they're like singing together, and it's just raunchy. A couple of my honorable mentions were Helmet, Unsung, which again, is it metal? I don't know. And then Butthole Surfers, Aha, which they're Texas, and I would definitely call them grunge. They had
Yeah, I don't know if I've seen them on any grunge list, but now that you say that, I mean, I don't take that away. I mean, they have all that same sound.
Yeah.
They're kind of like that to me, almost like Surfer Raw. I don't know how to describe. I don't know.
Well, I think the vocal styles really, for me, if it's metal, it's obviously kind of screamy. And with grunge, there's not a lot of screaming. They're,
some sort of singing,
modern music and melatonin singing or something. Yeah. Yeah, I had a Skin Yard, 1,000 Smiling Punches.
Yeah.
which is a freaking awesome song. It says something, 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 where I could send you 1,000 smiling punches right to your face. And it's just the thought of that, man. I want a shirt that just is like a fist, you know.
Bunch of smiley faces on it.
Yeah, and then I also had some Temple the Dog, Say Hello to Heaven.
Yeah.
And then Screaming Trees, which another one that not a lot of people listened to or knew about, especially if they weren't on the radio, I guess. I mean, not a lot was.
They had one song that I recognized.
Nearly Lost You There,
yeah.
which would be the one that was on there. And that was the one that I think I listened to quite a bit of other ones, but that was the one that, you remembered in the 90s that was on the radio.
Exactly.
Yeah. Screaming Trees are cool, man. And it's like a grunge name, Screaming Trees.
That's why I said that's like up there with the top names. That was one of the things I was going to say. I mean, just a bunch of them. I mean, obviously Bush is a cool name, Silverchair, L7. There's cool band names, man. So Mad Season, I had never heard of them. Listened to a bunch of their stuff.
That's Lane Staley, and it's like another super group like Temple.
Yeah, that's what I said. I did. That's what I said. That I figured that would have came up when we were doing the super group stuff.
I think it did.
Oh, maybe it did. Maybe I just don't. Okay.
I think it was basically everybody who wasn't invited to Temple of Dog went and kind of did their own thing with Mad Season.
Did anybody? I know none of their songs made any of my list.
I'm pretty sure it made mine. River of Deceit was probably one of mine.
Okay. Well, I apologize then.
I just had I had Very 8 by Nirvana, Outshined by Soundgarden.
Yep.
And then the Toadies, Possum Kingdom.
And Toadies were Texas. Yeah. So like I said, I mean, it was a
Well,
lot of mine were.
I didn't like very many of the Pixies songs. I went to listen to, I watched the thing, and that was a huge influence on Kurt Cobain and his style. Yeah. And I went and I heard it in the music, not in the lyrics. So that's what kind of throws me off, is if he liked what was playing behind him, and he's like, I could do way better. The girl, there had a girl in there that rocked. I mean, it was cool. It just, I didn't dig it near as much. I couldn't see how stylistically where he got it from. Once he said that was an influence, I'm like, well, I got to check him out.
Yeah.
I feel like the Pixies are more, when they do their live shows, it's different than their recordings. Because I've seen the Pixies live a couple of times, and I had a friend that had a live DVD or whatever else, and it isn't like their music, the music that plays. It's it's definitely rougher. It's harder. Even though they don't move, nobody,
none of them move at all.
At all. It's just like they just stand there. But when it's live and they're rocking out, not moving, I get it. I can see where they got it from. Walk across the stage or something.
Well, the kid wanted to do a list, but she didn't know what grunge was. I tried to tell her. She knows Nirvana. She likes Nirvana, but of course she's not as well seasoned into the grunge, and so she kind of lost interest. And I thought that would have been cool for her. She was like, "Will you read it?" And I was like, "Yeah, I would," but
yeah, she has a good, happy life.
She wants, yeah. She's been really into Billie Eilish, and so she's been trying to what are you doing next week? So she's probably going to wait till she can work Billie Eilish onto a list and do all 5 Billie Eilish songs. But I don't know. Have we done 90s hip hop yet? I think we have, but
I think we did.
I mean, Billie Eilish wouldn't go 90s hip hop, would she?
No. But that's what I told her I was thinking about doing next
week.
Okay. She was like, I was like, honey, she's not that old, hon.
Yeah, I was gonna say I was confused every.
Yeah, no.
We have. I mean, I'd be down with that. I mean, that's an easy one for me.
Yeah.
We could do that one right now.
Didn't we just? I swear we just did 90s.
We'll have to go back and look again, maybe. But we'll hit we'll hit the messages and we'll figure out what we're gonna do next week. But yeah, it's been fun. Great list. I'm gonna go see if I got an extra preteen in the house, and then I'm gonna go hide the rest of the night.
Be careful how you say that. His daughter's birthday, and she's having a friend stay the night. So just everybody, just clarify.
I hate this world. I hate this world so much. I'm just gonna say that.
Well, it was me. I think I would have skated right
children.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, all right, guys. Thanks again. We'll see you next week.
All right.